So
Yep.
where we last left off was at the conclusion of a rather harrowing encounter between some of the denizens of this part of the forest and the party. Some pretty severe licks handed out. However, the party managed to scrounge itself through. The time is a little bit past. I'm going to say it's around like 2 p.m. And after dealing with the grotesque plant creatures that seem to emerge from the trees as if they're part of the forest themselves, and encountering a bewitching water-based creature that seems to have fled for the time being, the party finds itself wondering where to go next.
Um,
I'm wondering if I should go to sleep.
we need to find that girl again. I'm gonna look for that girl. Make sure she's still somewhere close.
Oh yeah, the girl.
Last place we saw her was around here.
Okay, make a. You're searching for her. Make an investigation check.
Wah wah.
So Morris, as you are taking a look around the area, you're trying to see if you can spot the small human footprints that denote her coming and going. What was initially spotted around the ruined tower that your party initially camped out at yesterday. As you are tracking these down, you eventually follow them into a small patch of undergrowth, and as you pull aside some of the gnarled branches that resist initially, but you give them a good tug and they slowly start to pull out of the way, you see huddled in a corner, arms around her folded up knees, two eyes staring back at you, is the form of Lola.
I give her a thumbs up.
Are they gone?
Yep.
So it's safe now.
Yep.
Okay. And she releases her hold on her knees and crawls forward and out of this small little hiding spot she seems to have found herself, and stands before you. I'm going to say you'd be around here somewhere when you found her.
Okay.
Wait, now that we found her, can we have like a short rest?
I'll start walking back this way.
I vote for a long rest, to be honest. I'm
Yeah, actually,
close
yeah.
to death.
Long
At
rest
2
is even better.
p.m.?
Oh, is it 2 p.m. right now?
It's around 2 p.m., yeah. I mean, you guys can take a long rest whenever you want.
Yeah. But we also don't want to be venturing out at night either. Probably be not good.
Well, you can decide however long you want to rest for. A long
Okay,
rest just has to
well,
last for at least 8 hours.
How about this? I'm going to roll a hit dice to get some health back.
Okay, well, let's say that the group of you are going to at least take a short rest.
I'm fine with that.
If you're going to do that for hit dice.
I still need the hit dice.
Alright, so the party finds a nearby alcove in which it can rest. Let's say looking for shelter, Mendardis, you are able to successfully find.
Ooh.
Wait, I can do polygon reveal. There, much better. Okay. So Mendardis leads the party into this small alcove where they can take some rest.
Did you move? Okay.
I just moved everybody, yes.
I was gonna say, I don't want to go in there just
Well, then
in
move
case
yourself out.
something's bad. No, if you move me in there, I'm just gonna assume it's good.
Well, I wouldn't move you into danger.
Yeah.
I'd let you move yourself into danger.
So what do we see around us right now?
Right now, you are in a small. It's just a small clearing of trees that this area doesn't seem to bear any particularly distinguishing features. It just happens to be a small clearing of the trees that you can see patches of the sky, the bright blue of the afternoon azure sky, in small patches and gaps in between the relatively dense and thick foliage. This area happened to catch a little bit more natural light than some of the other areas, say the kind of series of streams that the group of you had just had your encounter in. Other than that, it bears no special or distinguishing features.
I would like to check for tree people.
Make a perception check.
Had to be perception. I see trees.
There are a bunch of trees. You don't notice anything special about the trees themselves. I mean, when you were kind of caught off guard the first time you were attracted by trees because, hey, they were trees and you didn't think that trees would attack you, but they were attacking trees. And here are some trees that are not attacking you.
Oh no. Guys, we're in trouble.
Why are we in trouble?
That was
So over the course of the hour, as everyone takes their rest, is anyone going to do anything, or is everyone just gonna, chill out and relax?
I'm getting my spells back.
Wait. Can I get a?
Nope, wizards are special.
Just wizards. Yeah, I was gonna say. What can I do on a short rest? Basically nothing, I think.
I think sorcerers can exchange sorcerer points for spell slots.
I can do that at any time, I believe.
Yep.
It
So if you
doesn't have
wanted to do it now, so you didn't have to do it later, you could do it now.
I'm good.
Mindardus, seeing as you were... actually, you know what? Mindardus and Morris, both of you make an intelligence check.
Yay! This dirt looks tasty.
During the intensity of the battle, it was hard to pay attention to anything else, but Morris, you vaguely recall seeing something reflective in the surface of the river as you were hauling Mindardus out of the grasp of this creature. Also, I'll have Pedwin and Theon, can you make an Arcana check?
Oh yeah.
Boom, baby.
Son of a bitch.
Theon, you have some recollection of you've heard of creatures like this before, but you were not terribly familiar with a lot of studies of monsters. Pedwin, you going to a different college that had a different focus on the various institutions of magic, you do know, or you do recall some lessons involving different creatures and their ability to beguile or enchant the minds of those that they encounter, and you know the creature that you encountered to be what's called a Ruskalka.
Gesundheit.
And what you remember about that creature is that it is not, it's obviously not a naturally occurring creature. It is one of the few creatures that has its origins in the Fae, but it is distinctly an undead creature. And you happen to know that those that are enchanted by its gaze, once they can break that, they won't be vulnerable to that again for about 24 hours.
Sweet.
You said I saw something shiny? That
You
wasn't the
recall
scary
seeing
lady?
something shiny in one of the in one of the riverbeds, but you're having trouble remembering exactly where that was.
All right, I'm gonna walk out to the island, I guess, or this thing. Swim across the river thing.
I'm gonna
To
walk
this
out of that
thing.
alcove just to
Yeah. I'm
And I'll
gonna
start.
take a look.
I'll start walking along the shore to see if I see it again.
All right, I need you to make an athletics check to jump the river. Oh, also, Minardus, were you only using 1 hit dice to recover?
I used to.
You did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
Well, he gets fucking D10s.
Because
his
he's
class?
not.
Yeah.
Because he's not a fucking sorcerer.
Motherfucker.
I get D12s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Barbarian gets the most. So, Morris, you are able to just sail across this. The river itself at that point is about 15 feet at its most narrow, but you're still able to just get a running start and just leap over it, no problem.
Nice.
Did you take track in high school?
What is high school?
Sounds about right.
All right, I'll start walking the coast to see if anything catches my eye.
All right, make a perception check.
My eyes.
It's pretty difficult to make anything out through the moving currents, which since your group actually left the waterfall, which actually deviated northwards and a little bit to the east, your group hadn't really encountered a lot of other bodies of water, but these streams seem to collect enough flow that they are actually moving relatively swiftly. You aren't able to spot anything from the surface, but you do recall that when you saw this this reflective glint, that it was around the area that you were trying to pull Minardus out of the water itself.
Okay. So I guess I'll go to that area and start probing it with one of my javelins. I think I have.
I could mage hand the riverbed and like scoop up a bunch.
You don't know what the hell I'm doing.
As Theon, as far as you can tell, Morris is he's looking for something out here.
I'm gonna leave him
Okay,
be.
make an investigation check, Morris.
For the javelin.
Yeah, with a javelin.
Oh, looks like I don't see anything.
Yeah, you're spearing into the mud, trying to turn something up to see if you can find anything, but unfortunately, all it's doing is kicking up sediment and some of the mud.
I'm gonna go over and ask my friend what he's doing. Looking for fish?
Saw something shiny. Must have been my imagination.
Do I see something shiny?
Make a perception check. So not too far off, maybe 4 or 5 feet, a little bit further downstream from where Morris was stirring up the sediment around. Oh, hang on. If you're going to go over there, I need you to make an acrobatics or athletics to jump the river.
Save me!
So Pedwin takes a couple steps back and then makes a running start, but doesn't quite get the footing that he was looking for. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, Pedwin.
How much do you weigh, Joe? Maybe I can mage hand you.
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure how much I weigh.
I think it's in the player's handbook. It tells you how you can calculate how much you weigh.
I just made up a weight.
Yeah, you get to pick a weight between certain values. Or you just roll for
If you did pick a weight, it should be in
background. 41 plus I'm carrying
Never mind.
38, 39.
Yeah, mage
So
hand
I'm
has
80.
lifted that up.
So around 70 pounds. Wait, you said 38 plus 49?
39 plus 41, so 80.
So Pedwin takes the running start and leaps, but it definitely doesn't get quite the takeoff he was hoping for, and is kind of flailing a little bit and almost makes it to the edge of the river before Morris. You hear a loud splash behind you, and everyone turns to see Pedwin as he falls a couple feet short of the river edge itself and has to swim just a little bit to make up for it, and eventually hauls himself up onto the other side of the river. His robes saturated with water, dripping. You just hear the wet squelching of his boots as he walks over to where Morris, or nearby to where Morris is searching.
I lean against my javelin and laugh a little.
Pedwin, you do manage to see something that is catching a little bit of light in one of the small eddies where the current is a little bit more gentle and the surface of the water is less turbulent.
Can I get closer?
You can actually reach down and try and grab that if you'd like.
Reach and grab.
All right, you dip your arm down into the water. It's quite cold, although you, having just hauled yourself out of it, is not surprising to you. And you manage to get a hold of something solid. It feels about the size of, around the size of a large egg. And you pull on it and pull, and eventually it comes loose. And you are holding up a pretty large gold nugget.
Gold, my precious!
Good thing it wasn't a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more around?
Make an investigation check.
Could you do locate object while looking at gold?
I could.
You do a little bit more rooting around with your hand, and you aren't able to come across anything else.
I'm gonna go ahead and toss my nugget to Big Mo and start locating object on gold.
I etch the gold.
All right, you let's make a dexterity saving throw. No, just a dexterity check. Dex check.
I was hoping we could do a save and throw. Okay, yep. All right, dexterity check.
So the unexpected sudden toss of this gold nugget at you, you reach out and everyone's treated to Morris as this thing seems to just barely slip out of his grasp because it's this slick metallic object, and he gets a hold on it, and then his grip is too strong and it pops out the top of his grip, and you see him frantically reach and he catches it again, but it happens again. Nearly losing his balance in the water, reaches out, locks his hand on the gold nugget itself, not realizing that he hasn't really got anywhere to put his feet, and he falls backwards into the river.
I'm oblivious to this. I'm oblivious to this.
Pedwin, you are focusing on the spell. All you hear is a loud splash and some laughter from the rest of the party. And
oh God!
What is a now
Can
familiar
I not
sound?
laugh because I already learned that lesson before?
You don't have to laugh at all if you want.
Okay, I'm not.
Lola's
laughing.
certainly getting a good laugh out of this.
But I do hang on to the gold nugget.
You do hang on to the gold nugget, and as you haul yourself up, you hear soft clapping, and you can see that Lola is kind of jumping up and down a little bit. She's got a bright smile on her face as she applauds your efforts to manage to hold on to this gold.
I give her a thumbs up.
She gives a thumbs up right back to you. So, Pedwin, what are you locating object on?
Gold, glorious gold.
Just gold in general?
Yep. I gave Big Mo the nugget, so it wouldn't be the closest source of gold to me. If there is more, I want to get away from him. So if there's something else nearby, I sense that instead of the thing I gave him. If you catch my drift.
Well, I'm trying to decide if this is going to work with the nearest of a particular kind, or if it's going to be just like a general area. So you want nearest of a specific kind?
Yeah.
Okay. Your your perception is thrown upwards, up through the canopy of the forest. The dark, deep green of the leaves, and you're used to perceiving it from the undergrowth, where it's silhouetted against the light of the afternoon sky, so it's very, very dark. But as your sense of vision is hurled upwards, you begin to look down over the forest, and it's a much brighter sense of green as it's reflecting all of the light of the afternoon sun. Although, over the course of this, it's creeping closer to like 3:30 now. So you are able to detect a considerable amount of gold. And there are bits and pieces, like a coin here or two, here and there, strewn about the riverbed that you are near, but you get a much stronger sense of it further to the north of where you are. Not very far. In your mind, you would say probably no more than 300 or so feet in a straight line, but you're having trouble getting its exact location. But it's not far. In fact, it's also not very far from where you detected the object that you initially scried for near your campsite when you were looking for the clothing. It's in the same general vicinity of there.
So I'll hang on to that in my head.
All right.
All right, I guess I'll swim across.
Yep.
Or jump across, or one of the two.
Make athletics or acrobatics.
Gotta go with athletics.
Once again, this is not even posing much difficulty for him. Just a run, a jump, and a big 2-footed landing as his heels dig furrows into the ground.
Since Joe and I did this together, can I throw Joe across? And then
if Pedwin is okay with that, then that's what's going to happen.
I do a double kowtow.
Double sow cow?
Double sow cow.
All right, so getting a bit as a Pedwin, seeing Morris's enormous hand reaching out, gripping his arm, and then just hurling him in a big horizontal swing, giving him enough spin that Pedwin uses the momentum and rotates twice in the air, landing on one foot and drawing a curved furrow into the earth as he lands, to the squealing delight and laughter of Lola. And unfortunately, you can see as she's smiling, you can see the dirty and very poorly kept teeth of this girl. Unfortunately, it looks like she hasn't been very well looked after, but she is certainly smiling now, and you get the sense that it's not something that she gets too often, is something to smile about. So the short rest comes to a close. Is anyone else going to be doing anything over the course of the hour, or?
I pocket the gold nugget. No, I'll toss it back to Pedwin. He found it.
I give him a thumbs up.
I push his thumb down. I give him a thumbs up.
God damn it.
So as everyone is finishing their short rest, Lola gets up and kind of dusts off her knees. So where to?
Northways!
I guess we're going north.
Wasn't she the one directing us?
Not anymore.
Jokey.
Well, you asked her to direct you, but it's entirely up to you guys where you go.
The short gnome said north, so we're going north.
North it is.
Short gnome.
Where are those warts?
As your group rounds the corner, you also, I need a marching order. Please line up in your marching order.
I'll take front again.
Third.
I used my pearl power, by the way.
Okay. Why don't you just throw that in the chat log, and what are you restoring?
A level 2.
Okay. All right, so Mendardus, you're taking up the rear.
Sure.
All right, so it's Morris, Pedwin, Theon, Mendardus.
No, I'll take second.
And
Alright.
I will then take the rear of the rear.
Very well.
We're off to see the wizard.
All right, and Lola is going to stick right behind Morris, in between Theon and Morris, to continue to provide some kind of direction. As your group rounds the corner and begins heading in the only pathway that you can find to the north, there are other pathways further to the east of where you are, but they seem to just disappear off into a different region of the forest, and this is the most immediate northwards pathway. As you're getting a little further along, it takes a small drop, and you have to navigate a small dirt slope downwards, and as you do, you notice that the root structures in this area seem to be much more pronounced, and it's not only tree roots, but also what appear to be a kind of off-white root structure that bursts forth out of the ground and forms a kind of network. And it appears to be the kind of root structure of a fungal colony. And it's similar to the ones that your group encountered on the way to this area as well.
Can I do an
Mushrooms?
investigation check on this?
Certainly, make
Let's
an
see if
investigation
it's-
check. Wait, well, what are you trying to determine?
I am trying to determine if these things are bad to the touch. That's about it.
You'd probably want to make a nature check then, and Mendardus, you can make a nature check as well. This would also be a forest, so it'll be with advantage.
Sweet.
So the two of you, having grown up in these woods, you know that this is a kind of fungi that is native to this area. And you also happen to remember that a lot of the fungi on this island tend to grow in large clusters, as if they kind of enrich the soil around them and promote the development of that type of life. So generally where you find a little bit of fungus, you're going to
Ooh.
find more of it.
Ooh. Can I do a check to see if you could use this in potions so I can bring back to the shopkeeper?
Make an intelligence check.
Intelligence off. It's check mark, right?
Yeah, in fact,
Damn it.
Everybody
Yeah.
make an intelligence check.
Yes, yeah.
I've completely forgotten about the... Oh, no, I haven't. I remember everything. Haha.
That's right.
What the fuck?
Evidently, you don't
Go
remember
Mo.
everything.
Yeah.
So
Mo's the smartest.
Morris happens to remember interacting with the herbalist who said that if you happen to find any red mushrooms with white spots or yellow mushrooms with gills, that those were ones that he uses to create healing potions. And if you could find them and bring them to him, then that would it would certainly help him to produce them more easily and for less cost to anyone that helped him out. But
Oh,
Andrew,
yeah.
Mendardus and Pedwin, looking at it, they're not even sure this is fungus, and they kind of voice their concerns to the group that this might be like illusion magic, or it could be like some kind of nefarious mind-altering influence, and they're not entirely certain.
My guy's pretty into shrooms, so even if it is mind altering, I'd like to try to harvest some mushrooms.
Okay, make a... I guess if you're going to be harvesting, let me see. Would this be nature or survival?
And can I also ask Mendardus to help me?
You certainly can.
Why the heck not?
Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, this is going to have to be survival from both of you.
Survival. It's my birthday.
Did I notice
Oh,
anything
yeah.
about
Yeah.
the mushrooms, HPG?
Hmm?
Did I notice anything about the mushrooms?
You don't notice anything aside from the fact that they're particularly prominent in this area, and I'm just going to go ahead and assume that the information that Theon and Medardus recalled about mushrooms tending to grow in large groups that they share with everybody.
What was the intelligence roll for?
Which one?
If
The
they
one
can-
you just had us
if-
roll.
If they can be
The
used for
intelligence roll was to
potions.
remember if there was anything useful from these mushrooms, and you
Okay.
specifically remembered the description of the mushrooms you'd need to find to help out
Okay.
Phineas the herbalist.
All right.
Mindardus, you are able to take a few small trimmings of the mycelium or the kind of root network structure of the mushroom, and you're able to hand it over to Theon.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
How much is this gonna weigh, and how much quantity, all that kind of stuff?
I'm just gonna say you've got like 3 bundles of mycelium, and the weight is negligible.
Mycelium.
HPG.
Mushroom.
I'm gonna message you quick, HPG.
Yep.
Is there
Actually,
any?
you never mind.
So no weight at all.
Nope. No weight.
Okay.
I was gonna do something, but it doesn't fit in line with my character, so I'm not.
Okay. All right. So the group pushes onwards.
Onwards and upwards.
Alrighty. So pressing forwards, the party is beginning to navigate the relatively twisting layout of the pathways that run through this region of the forest. And whereas before it was a relatively straightforward and easy to understand layout that it simply looked like all pathways were carved by either animal tracks or frequently trodden pathways from patrols or other individuals that frequent the forest. But here they begin to become increasingly wild and covered in undergrowth. And now, as your party is getting deeper into the forest itself, the lack of a breeze is becoming more noticeable. And the air itself seems to be a bit on the stifling side, carrying a heavy scent, somewhat acrid and with decay in the air.
I fart.
Theon farts.
Can you make him roll to see if he poops at the same time?
He's not.
Portent.
He's not in any particular state that would require any special effort required to keep himself from crapping his pants, so I'm not going to say he needs to roll. If he had just had something funny to eat, or if he got punched really hard in the stomach or something, I was totally half expecting Morris to punch Theon really hard in the stomach. Okay, so
I distance myself and get behind Mindardus in the lineup.
all right, so the marching order is now Morris, Lola, Mindardus, Theon, Pedwin. Okay, you guys can move yourself further along.
So we'd be where?
Just further up
here?
the pathway, you can see here.
Okay. So
So
we've
as- hmm?
we've managed to go a whole 150 feet, guys. We're almost there.
Well, in this case,
I'm just I was just making a
Steve-O, you're
joke.
an ass.
well, I mean, I could, we could stop using the map for the sake of this, but this process is taking longer than what it appears. You've not gone 150 feet. This is you guys are following this pathway.
Yeah.
It's like a Zelda path.
It's
You
longer
keep
than it
going
appears.
one. It's just a repeated maze.
So it's actually more that the party keeps going for around 30-45 minutes. The path is slow going because of all of this thick and heavy overgrowth. And the occasional wary eye out for anything else that may decide it wants to take an interest in the party. And as you are moving forward, the air begins to carry a much heavier scent with it. And it's much more acrid, it's much more unpleasant.
Jeez, did you fart again?
I did not. Pedwin?
Okay.
And as the group is rounding a corner, it begins to see the air become increasingly obscured with a very thick and heavy fog that is blocking vision further up, and the group can't really see much further along right now. And it's just kind of hanging in this area, given the very stagnant airflow. The sounds of the river having begun to fade away. They're still a little bit audible, but for the most part, all that you can hear are the progressive sound of footsteps, the occasional creak of wood or chirp of an animal lost somewhere in the undergrowth.
And this is at the split, you're saying, or are we still walking along the
so
regular path?
you come to this fork, and one of the pathways, the path further north, is blocked off by this increasingly thick vapor.
I'll turn to Pedwin and ask which way, or I guess I'll turn to the group and ask which way.
Left.
Left.
I do not enter immediately.
Left it is.
Are you going to enter the fog? Or the vapors, I should say?
If I don't hear any cries of concern, I'm gonna walk into them.
I'm gonna call Lola back and say, wait for Mo.
Lola has decided not to enter the fog either. She is actually waiting right about here or so. Although actually responding to
Where?
Leon's call, she backs up a little bit and is
Are
right
we
around
able
there.
to get an icon for her or something?
Yes, I will. Let me find something for her. I'm just gonna put one together real quick.
Oh my god.
What?
I typed in Lola in some of the pictures.
On Google? You got a lot of Lola Bunny, didn't you?
No. I think there's some like modeling photos where they're wearing like the mesh dresses and bras and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Okay, there. Lola has an icon.
Does she have a beard? What is that?
She doesn't have a beard.
Have a beard.
Is it what? Oh, that must be a necklace. Okay.
He's an elf.
Uh,
Actually, it's probably
is she
not
an
true.
elf? Is she an elf?
As you take a closer look at her, she does seem to display features that are elven. She doesn't look a full elf, but she does appear to have some kind of elven features.
And my vision of her obscures as I walk into the fog.
And as you walk into the fog, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
This is fucking Stephen King all over again, man. The fog.
Morris, you take 2 points of poison damage. As you disappear into the fog, the rest of the party can hear a slight muffled coughing sound as Morris has disappeared. Is only a couple of feet before he is nearly just completely obscured by just this heavy, thick cloud. Morris, you're walking forward and you can barely see your hands outstretched in front of you, and it's just the further you go, you're just encountering more and more of this fog.
Alright, I'm gonna turn around before I get poisoned too much. Can I tell it's poison?
Your body does seem to go into some kind of revolt as you are walking further into this, as you're forcing your eyes to stay open, they're beginning to sting and water. And as you reach towards the edge of the cloud, you can see that it does seem to thin out a little bit afterwards.
Okay. So I guess I'll I
So
can
you
tell it
can
thins
see.
out. I can tell it thins out.
You can tell that it does thin out just a few meters into the fog. It does get thinner, but you are not certain how much more of this you're going to be walking into. But there does seem
Right.
to be less of it in immediately in front of you.
Right, I'll turn around and head back to the group.
All right, and you turn around and head backwards, and you take another 2 points of poison damage
Right.
from your continued exposure to this haze that hangs in the air.
Right. I'm gonna try not to cough on my way back.
Make another Constitution saving throw. Okay, so actually that second time, that should have been 6 points of poison damage, not 2, my mistake.
Okay. 2. Yep. Alright. Am I out of the fog?
You are out of the mist, yes.
Alright. I step out and I say, everything's good, let's go through.
Oh boy.
No, I'm joking. I'll relay the information. The fog doesn't seem to go very deep, and ask if anyone has ideas of how to clear the fog, the poison fog.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Dust Devil
Or you could do Mage
Where are you
Hand and try
casting
to
Dust Devil?
slap it.
in the center, well,
The fan
in
away.
at the front of the fog. I want to push it away.
Okay, can you ping where it is? Alright, so you're going to cast it there and
Try and
you're
push it
gonna try
away.
and, like further north? Or...
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and cast Dust Devil.
I see Pedwin casting it.
Oh, I don't have it prepared. Never mind.
Pedwin struts up to the front of the group, his arms outstretched in front of him as he prepares to take on the hazard of this mist. And as he raises his hands and begins to mutter an incantation, he stops with a never mind, and turns on a heel and struts, chest still puffed out, chin held high, right back to his position.
As he starts
taking
walking
up the rear.
away, I'll say, you can try igniting it. Maybe.
Does it look like it's flammable?
Make an intelligence check.
Trees, man.
Alright.
From what you can tell, there does seem to be some quality of it that you get some sense of like kind of methane-based decomposition. So it may react to flame. You're not entirely certain.
Everybody back
It's your
up!
first encounter with this.
Everybody back up. Let's do some science.
Yeah.
Firebolt. Pew pew.
All right.
I can't control flames on this, can I?
No, it's a magical flame. If you could produce a source of non-magical flames, you could control those.
Can I wait until it catches on fire and then control that flame?
It's probably gonna be too big for you.
Yeah, that's probably true.
What are the limitations on control flames?
Non-magical flames that I can see, and that fits within a 5-foot cube.
Kaboom.
Probably
Okay.
not.
All right. Well, so do you want to try and control some of
It's-
these flames?
It's a 10 feet span. No, I don't want to get close to it. I'm gonna let it go.
All right. So Pedwin, I take it you're standing well and truly clear of this.
Yep.
All right.
Knowing Pedwin, I figure he'd be right about it.
So Pedwin reaches up both hands, and a gout of flame bursts forward in a small little package as it tears through the air. everyone can feel the swath of heat as it leaves his hand and disappears into the mist. And you can see that as it begins to make contact with the mist itself, the fire and the light around it seems to glow increasingly bright, and it burns with a greater intensity. And a small, neat cylinder is punched through the cloud. And as the haze begins to shift around a little bit, and Pedwin, you can see through that gap, you can see a region of... You can tell that just beyond this cloud there is an area that is not filled with the same mist, but you can still see more examples of this thick green mist as your firebolt continues to travel down. You can see it carve this small cylindrical pathway through additional clouds further down. And while the air does heat up, it appears that this mist is not quite so reactive as to explode, but it does seem to amplify any kind of combustion.
Can't blow it up. I'm out of ideas.
All right.
Well, you do notice that as a result of having been exposed to the flame, that mist has now become a little bit thinner.
I'm gonna get to work on making a flame.
Can we
I'm gonna look
just
for.
go to the right first?
No.
I'm gonna look for some firewood.
All right, Theon, why don't you go ahead and walk over to the right? Firewood, go ahead and make a survival check with advantage.
If I'm trying to make a fire, what would I do?
That is also
Ask
going
me
to be a
nicely.
survival check.
Oh, terrible.
Survival check, you said?
Fortunately, you are quite literally surrounded by wood, so someone has experienced at surviving in the wilderness. You're able to
I'll
accumulate a
start
meager
trying to-
amount of firewood.
What about me?
I'll start trying to make a fire despite Pedwin standing right there with a flame in his hand.
Yeah.
All right. Theon, you didn't need to make a survival check. I need you to make a perception check.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I didn't find wood.
It's pretty hard to find
check?
when it's so small.
Just make a perception check. So Theon and Lola are hand in hand, and they are walking up and taking the alternate fork. But
I can't see.
it's weird. It must have been like a trick of the light or something, because Theon could have sworn that there was another pathway that was right there.
It must have been those shrooms, man.
It's weird. It's almost like the forest like grew and like covered up that pathway, and like in the brief time it took him to walk to the front of the line. And Lola manages to just keep walking and kind of tug you by your hand forward.
I'm so strung out, guys.
I was expecting like something like bats to start swarming around him or something. A bunch of mosquitoes start swarming around his head.
Oh, fuck that, no.
And so Theon being led forward and a little bit startled by the fact that, like, oh wait, no, that path was here, it was right here, doesn't see the branch that is kind of low hanging, and Lola's too short for this, so it doesn't even matter to her, but she leads you directly smack dab into the branch. Can I get you to make a dexterity save?
Can you get me to? Probably not.
Yes, make a dexterity save, please.
Fuck my rolls, man.
So you, unbeknownst to you, this branch is heading straight for you, and you smack into it, and you recoil for a moment and step backwards, nearly losing your feet and footing and falling on your butt. But you manage to keep your footing, and Lola leads you into another small clearing that you encountered before. The earth in this area seemingly untouched by any kind of footprint or any indication of a passing of a creature. It simply is a small clearing, similar to the ones that you encountered before.
Can I do a perception check for any more branches?
You do not need to do a perception check for any more branches. There are no branches you can see right now.
Yay! I don't want to get hit again.
You are able to see patches of sky through the foliage again, and you can see that the sun is nearing, or the shadows being cast imply the sun is nearing a western horizon.
Maybe we can get some mirrors and shine it into the fog like Zelda.
While this is going on, the walkway
That's a
itself
no.
is taken up partially by the large form of Morris, who has sat down and piled a few rocks in a circle and has collected some of the nearby wood. Mindart is giving him some of the firewood he was able to find. And he appears to be there with 2 sticks, just frantically scraping them back and forth, and that not working. He's taking 2 rocks and he's hitting the 2 rocks together to elicit some kind of spark. Morris, make a survival check. Or no, was the 17 that you rolled, was that for this?
Yeah.
All right, so do you have like a tinderbox or anything, or an explorer's pack?
I have an explorer's pack.
I think there's a tinderbox in an explorer's pack.
I'm gonna double check.
We need to remember to get my new icon up. The more squarey one.
So while this is going on, Pedwin is standing there with fire in his hand, and Morris, busy at work, looks to Pedwin and says, "Watch this," and then keeps working, and eventually does manage to get the flintstones that he has to catch spark to the tinder, eventually kicking up a small flame that is beginning to catch the kindling, and Morris successfully builds a campfire.
Yeah, it does have a tinderbox with 10 torches.
So there you go. You have got your just the beginnings of a small campfire. The small trail of smoke beginning to curl upwards and disappear into the canopy above you.
Alright.
The scent of burning wood begins to fill the nostrils of everyone around.
I head back, and no, I take that back. I don't do that.
I'm gonna go ahead and do another firebolt.
All right, you cast another firebolt, and it whizzes through the cloud, once again punching a very neat hole that is illuminated by the enhanced combustion of that area. And the cloud itself is beginning to dissipate pretty heavily, and it looks like there's only a little bit that's lingering in the area. You can actually see through the cloud at this point now.
Can I use Mage Hand and like flap it wildly in the center to like wave it away?
You can certainly fan with your mage hand.
What is your character's intelligence level?
Very low.
So as Pedwin is sending additional firebolts into this cloud, Theon walks over, managing to narrowly avoid the same branch on the way back, and summons a spectral hand that begins to kind of shoo and fan away the remainder of the cloud. Theon following it up, going.
I'm gonna hold off and wait for him to get out of the way so I don't blow him up.
But did it work?
The cloud is very nearly dispersed now. One more firebolt should take care of it, or a few more minutes of mage handing it away. Theon, you're not entirely certain who's having a greater effect, Pedwin or yourself, but the team effort is
I'm trying to make the little girl laugh. I have good charisma.
Lola is finding this entire thing very amusing.
Then I keep waving my mage hand.
All right, Pedwin, fire another firebolt.
Boom, fire.
All right, so the last of this fog is cleared out, and your group can now see a little further down.
Big guy, go take a look.
I guess I'll get up from my campfire that I made to clear out the poison fog and go take a look. I'm keeping an eye out for the fog so I don't get poisoned again, by the way.
No, you can see that it's a relatively stationary phenomenon. It doesn't seem to move around very much, again, because of the very few air currents, but you can see that this fog does seem to settle in certain regions, and there is very, very slight breeze that is extremely gradually dispersing the fog, but the itself is heavy enough that it seems to stay localized in one area.
All right.
I decast Mage Hand. Uncast it.
All right. Are you still hanging on to Lola?
I never asked to hang on to Lola, but yes.
All right. Well, that's fine. Lola can just move with the rest of the party.
All right. What do we
just-
see?
Make a so as you know, let's just describe it. As you're looking around, you can see more examples of this relatively thick fog now. More of it has been burned away from the remnants of the firebolts that Pedwin had released. So you can start to see through. You can start to see through the fog that is hanging around directly in front of you. Once I can select this shit. There we go. Okay. So there is more fog that appears to be hanging around on the immediately in front of you and also immediately to your left.
So there's more fog.
There is more fog a little further along, and well, what you also notice is that you can hear the sound of water, but it is much, much softer than it was before. It's definitely nowhere near as swiftly moving as previously, but you do hear a trickle and kind of drops of it as it appears to be collecting somewhere nearby. As you move a little further along, you notice that there appears to be a rather sheer edge that then drops off into what is more fog, and the sound of the water is louder from there. Can I get you to go ahead and make a perception check, please?
Just him?
Well, he's the only one there as far as I know.
Yeah.
Is anyone else moving up to look around?
I have not yet.
I'll move up and take a look.
All right, make a perception check, please. Morris, you actually nearly topple over, not realizing quite how close you are to the edge. But you do see that the fog definitely gets a lot thicker through here. Mindardus coming a little further up. He can see through the fog through the mist what little of it has cleared. Is that it appears that along at the base of this drop that the two of you have discovered along the left-hand side, there is a green layer of plant detritus and just kind of peat and bog, and it is a much, much heavier scent of decay. And it appears to be that this may be what's causing the fog itself, as it's slowly... The mist appears to be actually rising out of this scummy green plant matter that is just formed over top of the surface of the water here like a film.
I don't see this though, or I do see this.
Well, Mindardus relates this information to you.
Okay. I guess I'll turn around and go pick up a piece of wood from the fire, stick it into the fog to try to burn it, even though it's on water.
So you take one of the pieces of firewood from the small campfire that you had built, which is still smoldering a little bit further back on the pathway. And as you reach the flaming piece of wood further into the fog, it begins to kick up with a brighter, more vigorously burning flame as it catches some kind of combustible element of this mist. And you are beginning to consume portions of the fog itself, but not making any real big impact from what you can tell.
Oh.
Like, just waving it through the fog does not appear to be having a particularly speedy effect. Let me put it that way.
Toss it on the water.
We just
Guess
leave the water bit alone.
I'll drop the plank and walk away, realizing it's not doing anything.
So Morris waving the The flaming piece of wood over this pit then drops it, and it disappears into this small divot in the water. As soon as the fire actually hits this green, thick layer that is over top of the water itself, a much brighter flame begins to kick up and radiate outwards as the fire actually burns along the surface of the water. The roar of the flame that is beginning to increasingly billow just kicks up this, and a plume of light emanates from this area, clearing out all of the fog hanging out directly above the area that Morris was previously trying to dissipate.
I win! In my disappointment, I have won.
I give you a thumbs up.
I'm not looking.
I cast Mage Hand right in front of you and give you a thumbs up.
I don't notice it. I rolled
Son of a
low on my
bitch.
perception.
As you are looking back at your handiwork, Morris, you notice that there is a lot less of that green layer, but there is still some that is evident in the water. And there is, across a relatively small gap, there appears to be more forest that you can walk across. And there appears to be a small clearing a little further along that does not contain any of this fog. Or mist, I should say. Oop.
I guess I'll turn around towards the party and ask where to go.
What time is it now?
It's getting to around 5 p.m. now. It is also at this point that Lola pipes up. We're not far now. I think she's near here. I remember going through this stuff, and she points her fingers at this fog.
You would.
But it seems funny. I don't know where I ran from. Mindardus, what did you say before?
Oh, I just asked you what time it was, but you already answered.
Yeah. Around like 5, 6.
Yeah.
Morris, what were you gonna say?
They said, aha. Waiting for someone else to. I'll just wait for somebody to say something. I'll stand there, not moving.
Does it look like this little bit of river is safe to cross? Or bit of pond or bit of muck, whatever it is?
Well, it looks pretty gross down in like this pool that is collecting there in the land. It's about 4 or so feet below where you guys are now. It takes a very sharp and then slick with mud and kind of gnarled roots. It just descends very quickly into this pond, if you will. But yes, it appears safe. Nothing seems to have reacted to the burst of fire or the intrusion of the flaming piece of wood into the pool of water itself.
Remind me again the black stuff on the sides of the path. What is that?
Like this stuff here? Like this?
Yeah.
That's just really thick tree. It's like that's just like density of forest. It's.
Could we go through that around?
If you wanted to, you could eventually hack your way through it. I would say it would take about an hour to get through 5 or 10 feet of it. Like it's very, very thick overgrowth at this point. You could do it, but it would just take time and energy.
Big Mo, do you feel like jumping across?
I jump across.
And make an athletics or an acrobatics check. Or Mindardus, are you going to cast jump on him?
Yeah, I'll cast.
He doesn't need to cast jump.
yeah,
I attempt
well,
to
how
jump
far is
across.
At its shortest distance, it appears to be at least 15 feet.
Oh.
That's nothing.
that? Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
have-
nothing.
All right, now if you want to try, go for it.
I go for the jump.
All right, and you take a running start and you leap out. You manage to cover most of the distance, but you misjudge how far it was or how much little space you had for your takeoff. And you manage to make it, but you manage to land by clasping your upper body on the edge of the dirt, with your legs kind of hanging below you, flailing around until you're able to get a foothold and then push yourself up on top of the opposite face of this small body of water.
All right. I'll turn around and say, I jumped across.
Yay!
I follow. Not so well. Catch me!
I use danger sense to see Pedwin in danger when he almost fails to jump.
Pedwin, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Catch me!
So, Pedwin takes a running start and hoping to emulate his acrobatic feat from earlier, but not quite having the same momentum from Morris hurling him across the gap. He jumps into the air and only gets about 1.5 rotations before realizing, I don't have enough momentum to make this. And he begins to fall, and Morris, it looks like he's probably not going to make it to the edge.
Oh, what can I do?
You can try and reach out and grab him if you want.
I'll try to reach out and grab him.
All right, make a dexterity check.
I don't get advantage on dexterity checks, Joe.
Morris, you reach out and your arm and Pedwin's arm happen to just barely make it into range of each other. And this tiny gnome hand just disappears into this large human paw as Pedwin smacks against the side of the land shelf, taking 2 points of bludgeoning damage as your nose is smushed flat against your face, and then you are rather roughly dragged up the dirt face and hauled up onto the far side of this small body of water.
I live.
Is someone jumping next? Or is someone throwing someone or doing something?
How's your strength, Mindardus? Tell you that mine's not that great.
Mine's not particularly good either.
I have an 8.
12.
Okay, you want to try?
I can cast a jump on you if you like.
Oh no, I'm talking about the little girl.
All right.
Yeah. Lola.
What are you asking, Lola? What are you asking, Lola?
I'm not asking her anything. I'm suggesting to Mindardus that we need to either
Throw
throw Lola across or.
Upon seeing Joe have trouble getting across, I'm gonna try to jump back across so I can help people get across.
All right, to make another athletics or acrobatics check.
I'm doing this for you guys.
So,
Oh, no.
Morris taking another running start, he leaps over this pool of water again. However, you'd think he would have learned the previous time to be able to judge this distance, but does not get the takeoff he's quite looking for. He manages to snag a small root on the way there. It throws off his stride and momentum. And he reaches out and make a dexterity saving throw. Morris reaches out and grips a hold of, as he's diving over this, he manages to just barely get a handhold on top of the edge itself on the opposite side. Make a strength check.
I like the way that sounds.
Mindardus and Theon, you're able to see the big, thick, meaty fingers of Morris just dig into the earth as he hauls himself up and over the edge, and he is now on the same side as you two and Lola.
And when I get up, I say it's a long jump. Who's first?
Let's send Lola.
All right.
Lola walks up to Morris and kind of looks up at him expectantly.
Expecting me to throw her?
I think she's expecting you to tell her what to do.
Oh. I'll ask her if she wants to try to make the jump or if she wants to be thrown over. I'm not gonna give him a lot of options.
I'm gonna give her like a boost of confidence in Mo by having Mo throw me first.
All right, I need Morris to make a strength check.
I hope it's an awful strength check.
You fuck. I would die down there, and somebody would save me, or I would just be dead.
All right, so with a bit of a running start and Morris's muscle power, he is able to successfully throw Theon most of the way across this pool of water. Theon, make a dexterity saving throw. Or no, make an acrobatics check. Make an acrobatics check.
Make an acrobatics check.
Very much like Morris, he is able to just get a hold with his hands, and his whole body kind of smacks down flat against the dirt, taking 1 point of bludgeoning damage. Make a strength check to pull yourself up.
I'm dead. If somebody wants to save me, now's the time.
Oh my god.
His feet are fruitlessly scraping against the side of this dirt edge. Over the next couple of minutes, he is able to get enough of a foothold with his feet against different roots, and he's able to slowly and surely pull himself up to the far side. But Pedwin, you are standing there watching this entire thing unfold.
Yep.
And Theon even manages to summon his own mage hand to kind of push himself and help himself get up. As he hauls himself over to the far edge and leans his back against one of the trees, kind of panting with some of the exertion. Lola has been watching this whole thing and then looks over at Morris and says, "I'll try and jump on my own, thanks."
It's okay, you're lighter.
So is anybody else? Is just you guys are just gonna let her jump?
I'm gonna stand
Yes.
close to the
I'll ask
edge to
her-
grab her.
I'll ask her if she wants me to grant a jump on her.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. So with the Mindardus moves over to her and mutters a small incantation, pulling a grasshopper leg out from a small pouch of components that he carries with him. He mutters an incantation, and the grasshopper leg seems to actually spring back and forth momentarily, almost as if it's alive. And then it freezes in place again, and Mindardus touches his hand to Lola's shoulder. It's strange. The contact when you when you touch Lola's skin, it is one of, it's rather cold and clammy, and a little bit different than you were expecting. You're not really certain what you were expecting at first, but this was not quite it. However, the spell seems to take effect, and Lola is able to soar very easily over this distance, actually landing, skidding to a stop right in front of Pedwin. She turns around and puts her hands on her hip and has a big, beaming, excited smile. "I made it!"
Give her a thumbs up.
She gives you a thumbs up back.
And I shift my thumbs up to to. I just brain farted.
Were you thinking of a name?
Mendardis.
I thumbs up back.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Well, it's just me and Mo left.
Mm-hmm.
Is it if I jump across myself? Is it a strength check? Is that what it is?
It'll be athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
All right. I think I can jump across myself. I will do acrobatics.
Holy high rolls.
So Mendardus takes a couple of steps back and then runs forward, putting his foot on a nearby root and actually using the natural elasticity of the wood to spring forward, grabbing an overhanging branch and using that as a lever. He swings his hips or his feet forward, letting go and covering the distance with no problem, landing barely making a sound on the far side of the pool of water.
Oh gee, here I go again.
Not one to be outshone or outperformed. The natural competitor of Big Morris thinks, well, I could do that, and then takes his running start and just leaps. He lets out a bestial charge as he's going, just and then jumps. This time, not even. He's determined not to actually fall short this time. And he not only clears it, he clears it with a couple of feet to spare, landing with a heavy thud on the far side.
I push Mendardis a little towards the edge. Not enough to push him over, just enough to make him jump.
And with a slight nudge, Morris just shoulders Mendardis a little bit out of the way. Mendardis, you would take offense to it, but you look over and you can see the smirk on Morris's face, and you realize that the whole thing's in good fun.
Evidently, it's not in good fun to him.
I glare at him.
I give him a thumbs up.
All right, it's been a while since your locate object spell faded, Pedwin, but you get the sense that you are very close now to the source of the gold that you were detecting before, and the kind of epicenter of both of your recent locate object spells. It appears to be in very close by to where you are.
That way.
Which way?
The way I think I should go.
I think that's HPG's call.
I'll be right back, by the way.
All right, well, why don't we take a short break here?
Cold break.
Anyone wants to go to the washroom?